So you clicked on this video because you want to know how to make $1,100 stretch every single month. Now, if you're in this situation, you are not alone. According to the US Census Bureau, 38 million Americans are at this income level of about $1,100 per month. And although you don't want to stay at that income level forever, the key to financial success when you're at this stage is careful planning and making every dollar count. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the mindset shift that needs to happen to make this income level livable. We're going to talk about how to cover your basic 4 expenses: your housing, your food, your utilities, and your transportation. Then we're going to talk about how to best prioritize the saved dollars that you have at the end of the month so that you can pursue your financial goals. So my name is James Dabney. I'm a certified financial coach, and I'm committed to helping young people get their finances under control and build the life that they want. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first, let's start off with this mindset shift. So you might be at this low income and you might think to yourself, I don't know, how to do this. I don't make enough money to live the type of life that I want. It's impossible. And I'm here to tell you that it's not impossible. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of consideration for these things. The number one thing that you need to do is you need to make a plan for where every single dollar of your money goes. Because if anything slips through the cracks, you're at too tight of a margin to allow that to happen. Things need to be dialed in. Putting your head in the sand is not going to be the solution. If you're like, I don't want to look at my finances, it stresses me out. I understand. I've totally been there. But the alternative is worse. If you put your head in the sand, then things are only going to get worse. And what you want to do is you want to get better. And that is only going to come by intentionally planning your income and your spending. Second thing is, this is not a long-term income. Eventually, we'll have to bump your income up because it'll be too restrictive, it'll be too tight, and it will be very difficult to live. So this is a temporary thing. We are trying to move up, but this is a fix for the time being, and that's what's important for right now. Thirdly, you need to stay away from debts at all costs. You're in too dangerous of a spot right now with $1,100 coming in on a monthly basis to deal with debt payments on top of that. And so we're going to discuss different ways that we can take care of that problem. But what you really need to do is avoid consumer debt, because right now we need to get you out of the hole that you're in financially, and getting into more consumer debt to float things for the time being might feel good in the moment, but I promise it's going to come back to bite you, and it will extend the time that you are in this predicament. So those are the 3 things. We're going to go over how we are going to budget this thing right now. As a disclaimer, I've never lived on this type of income, but the principles that I'm going to talk about today still bear true regardless of the income that you're at. We're just looking at an example so that you can see that it is possible to live on this type of income. Even though it's difficult, we're going to look at how we can make it happen. So I whipped up this Excel spreadsheet just to help us out a little bit. So what we have is we have our take-home pay up here at the top of $1,100, and then we have our 4 walls of expenses, which is housing, utilities, transportation, and food. And then we have some other expenses down here in a category, and we're going to go through those as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to calculate out what all of these need to be, and we're going to end up with a savings down here. Now I have emergency fund down here in savings because that's what we're going to shoot for first. Is we're going to try and save up as much as we can for our emergency fund, hopefully $1,000 to keep you away from the wolves trying to take you out. So that's what is going to be down here in savings. So let's get started. So if we go to housing really quick, housing and utilities, the only way that you're going to make this work is if you get really creative and really frugal. The number one idea that I've heard tossed around in order to make this happen is not going with an apartment at all, because apartments usually are at least like $700, $800. And that already is going to be a huge portion of our take-home pay. So what I would suggest instead is that if you can find a room to rent out of someone's apartment or someone's house or anything, then that would be a great option. So say someone's renting a place for $1,400 right now, a 3-bedroom apartment. You go to them and you say, hey, I need a place. Could I get in with you? Is there any possibility? And they're like, I don't know. But then, they give in or something like that. Maybe you can find a place like that. If it makes sense for both parties, maybe you can do some chores. Maybe you can be a good housemate. You can do whatever. Anything that you can do to reduce your expenses, you have to do. And so for housing and utilities, we're going to shoot for around $450 cumulatively. So say you find someone like that, what you're going to say is, all right, I will give you $400 for rent, and I'll give you $50 for utilities. So $450 for your housing, and that's taken care of. Now you can see I've programmed these cells. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I didn't do a good job. So what we're at cumulatively between those two is we're about at 40% of your take-home pay already. But the benefit to, if you can find a room with someone, then you have a kitchen in the place, in the building. You're renting out this room, so you have at least one place that you can be and sleep and operate and store things and all of what you need to do. And you're keeping costs really low. So again, being a good housemate, making this happen could really be a savior for you. And so that's what we're going to start with, is we're going to start with housing and utilities. So transportation, just as like a thought experiment, I have about a 10-minute drive to work every day, and I go 5 days a week, and I start at 8. So I did a little experiment. I looked up bus routes and what that would cost on a daily basis, time-wise and expense-wise, to get to work every single day. It would be about 38 minutes in order to use the bus, the public transportation system here in where I'm living. Each bus fare is $2. So if I go to work every day, to work and back, I would be spending maybe an hour to an hour and a half of traveling to get to work and back. But then I would be spending only $4 a day on transportation. And so if we take, we have 4 weeks in a month, we have 10 travel occurrences there and back times $2 per gives us $80. And so if you needed to go with public transportation, for $80, you could make it full-time to a workplace if you needed to. And that's not even counting, other excursions, groceries, whatever you got to do. That's just for work. If you're at this income level, it might be doubtful that you're even working full-time. That's a whole other conversation. But just as an example, we're going to say for transportation, $100 is what we're going to put in there. For food, so this one is where it gets also really difficult, because obviously you want to eat well, but the income level is what's holding you back. And so we're going to say that about 20% of your take-home pay is going to go toward food, 20 to 25%. So let's say, what's 125 give us? 125 is 11%. Yeah, that's too little. Looking at 250. There we go. So we've got $250 for food. I made this work in college. I had some supplementary things here on the side, whatever, but you can make this work. Rice and beans, beans and rice, you can make $250 work per month. $50 a week plus $50 for, a cheat meal, something a little bit extra, whatever. You're in survival mode. So this is what we got. So then right here, you can see that we have $300 remaining. So now we're going to go to some of these other expenses down here. First, let's say that you have a phone. So we're going to say phone. And we're going to say phone bill is, let's say, $55 or something like that. Maybe you have a $30 minimum payment on the phone itself, and then you have, $25 of your actual cell coverage or whatever. This is, phones are kind of a necessity of life. even at this low of income, it's just kind of a necessity, especially for coordinating bus fare, work, other opportunities. It's really important. So phone is one of them. Side note, we also could have done for transportation, we also could have said, we're going to invest in a crappy bike, and you could bike to work as well. That cuts down your travel time from my little experiment from 38 minutes per trip to 17 minutes per trip. And so that could be a huge game changer as far as time. It just takes a little bit of an extra investment up front to get the bike, obviously. So another possibility, because maybe you invest the $100 into a bike, and then you have that and you can continue to use that into the future, and you don't have the bus fare cost. Another idea. Okay, moving back down here to the other expenses. We're going to go with personal. And this could be toothpaste, toothbrush, toilet paper, just the necessities of life that you need to deal with. And we're going to say for that, we're going to say 50, we'll say $50. These are not fun items. These are like, you need them to live and show up to work in like a, reasonable fashion and stuff like that. Okay, we're going to say a little miscellaneous fund of maybe like $20. This is for like if you have a parking fee or something like that, just something really minor that, you got to take care of. I got to fix my cells really quick too. Boom, boom. Okay, now we got our percentages right. I think this one needs it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got a little miscellaneous. Now, if you have any debts, that could also go in this situation here, but we could also say insurance. If we're at this level, we are probably going to be looking for government assistance and stuff like that, but you're still most likely going to have to pay something. But in this scenario, let's say we can get by with $75 for insurance a month. And so then we have $100 remaining at the end of the month. Now, this is not disposable income. Like I said before, what we need to use this for is to build toward a little cocoon of money in order for you to be safe and for you to progress to the next level. So what we saw is that at that level of income, at $1,100 a month, it is possible, but it is very, very tight. There's no wiggle room. You have $100 at the end of the month, and you're going to try and scrape together as much extra money and cash that you can to build an emergency fund of at least $1,000. That is your number one goal at this level. Number two goal is a little bit more ambiguous, which is you need to be building good habits. There are a bunch of free resources, even some that I'm going to offer to you at the end of the video, so stick around, that you can use to level up your financial picture. And that is going to be a budget. You're going to have to track this stuff very judiciously in order to succeed. And so building good habits around spending, around tracking, all those things is going to be, the life or death habit that you're going to have to build. You're going to have to say no to yourself so that you can say yes to the future that you can have, but you have to save and you have to, get control of this thing before it gets out of control. So third thing you can do with this extra, the extra time that you have is you need to increase your income. This $1,100 is not a sustainable solution. Month after month, it's going to get very difficult and tiring. And so what you want to do is get above the income level that you're at if you're at $1,100. So this comes with applying for jobs. It looks at, can you invest more time into learning a particular skill? Can you have someone teach you something for free out of the goodness of their heart? You just tag along and work hard for them. Is there an opportunity for someone to, take you on as an apprentice to learn a skill to increase your income? Different options like that. You have to increase your income at this stage. That is the only way that you're going to start progressing out of the situation that you're in right now at $1,100 a month. And if you want to keep building your budgeting knowledge and understanding, join us at the free Bastion of Budgeting. It's a school community based completely around how to budget and doing things wisely. It's completely free. It comes with courses. It comes with free discussion posts, event calls, and deeper lessons on how to master your money. So links in the description. Let me know if you are interested by going and joining the Bastion of Budgeting. So my name is James Dabney again, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.